Okay, so we'll start with the guitar, and this is a guitar that I used near enough for the whole album. In fact, I did use it for the whole album. It's a Schecter Omen 8 string, and it's all pretty standard. As you can see, it's in black and chrome hardware. Nothing's been changed on it really, per the high E string. I found with this, with the amount of extra wood because of the extra strings, it just sounded a hell of a lot nicer for the clean stuff, and you know, the strings are still fairly new, so that's why I used that as opposed to my go-to 6 string, which is an LTD EC401, where the strings are pretty dead on it and I just couldn't be bothered getting new strings. Now this was used on most of the demos. My bass I use is actually a Squier Precision bass, but I changed the neck on it to a jazz bass neck just because it felt nicer. And again, pretty standard, although I have modded it a lot. This is actually just a volume control, which is normally there. I dropped it down because I find I catch my fingers when when I play chords. I flick, you know, with my, you know, that kind of motion, and I found I kept hitting my finger on the volume knob, so I dropped it down to there because I don't use the tone control at all. I actually set it all the way off. It's just a warmer sound, and that's what I prefer. So again, this was used on everything, and you know, it did the job well. It's quite punchy as well, which is again why I wanted to use it, but you know, it's not usually my standard bass, but they need a bit of a setup. My guitar amp, as you can see here, it's a Line 6 Spider 2, and you know, basically I have 2 presets on there, which I could show you. Basically, that's my metal setting, distortion. I just take the delay and the reverb off when I'm recording, and then my clean setting is always on A, and again, same thing, take the delay and the reverb off when I'm recording. I would play through, but it's difficult while holding the camera, obviously. And bass amp is a Laney BC120 combo. Again, as you can see, lots of bass. I like bass. Found that a lot of black metal artists don't actually use a hell of a lot of it, and that's why I prefer. There's quite a lot. I think the treble, yeah, the treble's actually all the way down, which I hadn't realised they'd done. That's been since we've moved, but normally I'd have that up, I think. I don't know, I'll have to do some experimenting again. I can't remember what my actual settings were before we moved, aside from bass being all the way up. Microphone is a Shure SM58, and again I use it, you know, mic up the guitar amp, as you can see there, the bass amp, and do the vocals, as you've probably seen in the making of videos. And I run that through an M-Audio Mobile Pre USB audio interface. I normally have for vocals and, hold on, for vocals and guitars I have it at about 1/4 for bass at about 0:00, you know, just because the bass tends to distort and what have you, and it works, just works for me. My headphones are some nice Sennheiser ones that my dad gave me, closed back, helps to keep all the sound out. And you know, I tend to do most of my mixes on there. I'm also running 2.1 system. I mean, it's pretty basic, but it does the job. I'm not complaining, although my setup of them could be a lot better with the sub being here. This desk has a tendency to amplify certain bass frequencies, and it's not good. So yeah, that monitor's not working or plugged into anything at the moment because I don't have the right lead, but anyway, I ran everything into my Mac, into my iMac, which is showing my drummer at the moment, which is actually just the snare sound that I use. Yeah, that's just the one I prefer. And if I go to my hi-hat, I'll show you the rest. Basically I use yeah, so basically I use drum kit from Hal for near enough everything except the kick and the snare. The snare is vintage rock, all from Easy Drummer, but I just use it as a, just use the samples from it. And the kick drum is actually a sample from I think it's Fear Factory. So yeah, like I say, it's a sample from a Fear Factory recording session that someone managed to get hold of. And contrary to what a lot of people would probably think, I actually write the drum tracks myself using Logic's hyper editor. If I go to the snare and so yeah, like I say, I write them all in myself. Yeah, so that's how I do that. And I usually write them in as a separate, as a single track, and separate them later on. I shouldn't have done that, but yeah, separate them later on in the mixing stage into, I'm not sure if I can zoom in on this really. Yeah, there we go. Kick, snare, hi-hat, high tom, mid toms, low toms, and then overheads. And literally all these only have whatever instrument it is, so the kick only has the kick, snare only has the snare, and so on. Mid toms and low toms have 2 drums on them, and the overheads have everything. Including the cymbals, just so it all sounds a bit more natural. Although evidently not on this track. Yeah, evidently I didn't do that on this track, but in some of the newer stuff I'm working on now, that's what I'm doing, just to give it, like I say, a bit more of a natural sound. And yeah, I just mix it all on Logic and master it then later on Waveburner.